Welcome to the deep dive. Today our mission is really to get into Soursop Extract. It's a supplement that's just blown up everywhere online, hasn't it?
It really has.
And we're looking at sources making these huge claims, curing cancer, diabetes, basically everything under the sun.
Yeah.
It all sounds, frankly, a bit too good to be true. But there is some fascinating lab data behind it all.
That's the crux of it, isn't it? The sources give us these incredible claims, but then almost in the same breath, they hit you with some really alarming counter evidence. We're talking serious stuff, like potential neurotoxicity.
Like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation.
Exactly. You've got this tropical fruit showing amazing potential in a dish, but maybe hiding something dangerous when it's concentrated. That's the contradiction we really need to unpack for you.
Okay, let's do that. So soursop, the fruit itself, sometimes called graviola, it's
Yeah.
real. It grows in the tropics. People have used it traditionally for ages. That's not the debate. But the modern hype, that's coming from specific lab findings. Researchers found these compounds, acetogenins, and they showed this, pretty incredible ability to kill tumor cells in lab settings.
They did. And if you look at the bigger picture, that initial excitement makes sense. These acetogenins, they work by messing with the mitochondria, the energy factories inside cells that divide really quickly.
Kind of like how some chemo drugs work.
Exactly like that mechanism, which is why in the lab they saw them hitting cancer cells and supposedly leaving the healthy ones alone in that specific context.
That does sound amazing.
Yeah.
So why then?
Yeah.
Why, after all this time and this kind of data, are we still just talking about, mouse studies and petri dishes? What's the holdup? Why isn't this a miracle drug yet?
That's the absolute key point we have to get across right away. Despite all that lab promise, there are, and this is critical, 0 human clinical trials supporting these cure claims. 0.
Okay, 0.
And the bottleneck. It comes down to toxicity. As soon as you start concentrating these plant chemicals, the potential danger just shoots way up.
Okay, so that's where the story takes a turn.
It really does. And this is where it gets, fascinating, but also potentially quite dangerous. Scientists looking at populations who consume a lot of soursop, particularly in the Caribbean, notice something worrying.
Which was?
Abnormally high rates of a very specific condition. Atypical Parkinson's disease.
Okay, maybe define that quickly.
Yeah.
Because that sounds serious.
It is serious. Atypical Parkinson's involves symptoms like movement problems, cognitive decline, but often it progresses much faster than the typical form of Parkinson's. And crucially, it often doesn't respond well, or at all, to standard treatments like LDOP.
So a treatment-resistant Parkinson's-like illness linked to soursop.
Exactly. And the sources point the finger at a specific compound in the soursop fruit called annonasin. Now, this stuff is a known potent mitochondrial toxin.
Wait, didn't you say the good compounds, the acetogenins, also targeted mitochondria?
I did. See the problem? The very mechanism that makes acetogenins interesting against cancer cells attacking mitochondria is mirrored by annonasin. But annonasin kills the wrong cells. It targets dopamine-producing neurons. That causes the severe neurological damage. It's like the dangerous flip side of the same chemical coin.
Wow. Okay, so that's the massive contradiction right there.
Precisely. Eating the fresh fruit now and then in moderation, that seems relatively okay for most people. The body can likely handle that low dose.
But the supplements, the extracts, the strong teas people are brewing.
That's where it gets risky. Those concentrate everything, including the annonasin. You end up accumulating these toxic compounds. It's almost like you're essentially microdosing a known neurotoxin.
Hoping for a miracle cure that hasn't even been tested in humans. Yeah, that's a huge gamble.
A terrifying gamble, really, and it's happening completely outside of any real safety oversight, which brings us to the regulatory side of things.
Right. Where does the FDA stand? Because these things are sold everywhere.
Well, the FDA doesn't regulate soursop supplements as drugs. They're treated like food supplements, which have much looser rules. However, they have issued import alerts, specifically trying to block products containing concentrated soursop seed material.
Because the seeds are particularly high in this annonasin.
Seems likely, yes. And importantly, when companies cross the line and market soursop products explicitly as a cure for cancer or other diseases, using those lab results we talked about, the FDA steps in, they classify those products as unapproved drugs. Selling them for that purpose is illegal.
So they can't claim it's a cure.
Legally, no, but the marketing often implies it heavily. If we look at the source material's overall take, it's pretty blunt. For many of these concentrated products, the conclusion was something like, weapons-grade delusion packaged as wellness.
Strong words.
Reflecting the seriousness of the neurological risk, I think. So the practical advice that comes out of this is really clear. Skip the concentrated extracts, the capsules, the powders altogether.
Just avoid them.
Yeah. If you like the taste or want some antioxidants, maybe eat the actual fresh fruit sometimes in moderation. But don't gamble your brain health on these concentrated, unproven products.
So wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway here? The knowledge nugget.
It's this stark contrast, really. You've got definite, powerful anti-tumor effects seen in lab dishes. That's scientifically interesting, a potential starting point, but that potential is completely overshadowed right now by significant, proven neurological risks in humans when you consume these concentrated forms.
Lab promise versus real-world danger.
Exactly. And maybe the final thought to leave with you, the listener, is this. Given these really high-stakes, potential irreversible brain damage, how should we approach traditional remedies like this, especially when they haven't gone through the rigorous safety trials we expect from modern medicine? How do you weigh that potential benefit against proven harm? Something to definitely think about.